I'm going to talk about heritage. There's a lot of reasons why I want to talk about heritage today, and also because of this stool that was returned back to the palace. Because a lot of people don't seem to understand that. They think that, oh, there's a stool, something that's been returned back to Benin Kingdom, returned back to the palace. But what does it really mean? How are we supposed to receive it? What do we think about it? There are many types of heritage that we don't seem to know about. That is why we don't feel like we're responsible for it. My name is Elizabeth Erativamo Hannistal, the CEO of Visit Edo Limited. So heritage, what is heritage? Heritage is something that you inherit, either from your ancestors, or you inherit it from your father, your generation, or you inherit it. It's something you inherit. There are some kind of heritage or some type of heritage that seems to be like in a family. Maybe something that they have been practicing in their family for generations. And they said, okay, this person is the one inheriting this, you have to do it. You have to, this is your turn. Then there's a general heritage, like the Benin Kingdom heritage that we all have in common as Edo people, is our heritage. So there are different type of heritage. There are also the type of heritage that that is what you call the tangible heritage, which is, you see, there are different type of heritage. So there are the heritage, which is the monuments, buildings, artifacts, different objects, those things that you can touch with your hands. There are those type of heritage, like the stool they just returned back to Benin Kingdom. That is heritage. The one you saw in the video that has been going around in the palace, that is heritage. So I think that every Beninite is supposed to be happy about that, because that is our heritage. Whether you like it or not, is your heritage, because it's in the palace, and the palace is part of our heritage, and we have to pay homage to the palace, because the palace has been there for generations. Is also our heritage. So there are many of our heritage that people don't know about. So because of that, they don't know their responsibility or what they're supposed to do. So heritage are something that we're supposed to protect, because we need to pass it to the next generation, because the other generation, our ancestors, they already passed it to us. It's now our duty to preserve it and then pass it to the next generation. So that is why it's so important that we preserve our heritage, we take care of our heritage, we follow up with those things. There's another type of heritage that is the different type of animal that we have. Maybe you have something like some kind of like, for example, when you see a lot of artifacts that have the leopard, for example, if that leopard is still into existence, if it's still existing today, it's supposed to be an heritage. But many of us didn't get the opportunity to see anything like leopard. I'm sure our past generation, many of those generations, they saw the leopard, which we were not able to see. There are some type of cat that is in Benin, is also an heritage, whether you like it or not. There are some specific type of animals that we inherited from our forefather, but we haven't really looked into it and know that these are heritage, that maybe this particular kind of animal is not found in somewhere else, but is in our land and is part of our heritage. So we have the responsibility to preserve that kind of heritage. Then you also have another type of heritage that is like the traditional things, like the dance, Igwe festival, the way the okuku, those things, music, a lot of other things like that is also heritage. So that is why there is every need for you to understand your heritage and also know how you preserve it and promote it, so that you can pass it to the next generation. For example, let me use the okuku for example. The okuku that a lot of Benin women put on their head, and the makeup, the old thing, the things that they put inside, those adanebe, the decorations, like that type is an heritage. That means that every Benin woman will want to preserve that heritage, so that they can pass it to the next generation, so that their children can get to experience that beauty of okuku just like that. Then you have the clothes that the Benin wear. The men, the white one, sometimes the red skirt, and you have the one with the top with the adaneben, and you have that. That is an heritage. So that is an heritage that every Benin man needs to have in their wardrobe. It's just something you need to have. Visitor will be coming up with many of those in our gallery or souvenir boutique, so that we have that for people that want to have one at home. So that is an heritage. If you don't know, you should know. That is heritage. So there are many things that is our heritage that we seem to take for granted. We don't even pay attention to it and think. We feel like it's just a common thing. Meanwhile, it's something that we have inherited. If you talk about the red bead, this is an heritage. If you don't know, it's an heritage because you inherited it. Your forefathers have been wearing it, and now we are not wearing it. So if you say the red bead, okay, heritage is something that when you go around, people can identify you. It's your identity. So your heritage, in a way, is your identity. If I go around in Lagos, for example, or in any part of Nigeria wearing the red bead, people will ask me, are you from Benin? Are you from Benin? Because they already know that we, the Benin, we wear red bead. We love red bead. It's now our identity in a way. That means that it's our heritage. Because our forefathers have been wearing this bead. It has been in tradition for years, and we are still using it in date. So the bead, in case you don't know, the red bead is our heritage. So by the time you start knowing your heritage, you're able to differentiate this heritage. Then you know how to preserve it. You know that it's your duty to preserve it for the next generation. When you don't understand your heritage, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, then you will not know how to promote it, how to preserve it, how to pass it to the next generation. Heritage is not something meant for you to destroy. No, it's not something meant for you to destroy. It's something meant for you to preserve, because you have a duty of passing your heritage, this heritage we have now, to the next generation. You should be able to ask yourself, what am I passing to the next generation? What am I leaving behind? So that the next generation, how would they tell who they are? Is with the heritage that you're going to protect. That is how the next generation can find their own voice and know who they are. For example, we posted a video today, today, which was about the Urokpota Hall. And somebody was making a comment, kind of strange comment, is left from the British, whatever. Urokpota Hall is an heritage. It's an Edo heritage. Whether you like it or not, Benin heritage, Edo heritage is an Edo heritage. Anything you see on Benin land, either is there or is outside the country, as long as it belongs to us, is our heritage. That period. And we have to protect it. Whether it's in abroad, or it's in Nigeria, or it's in Benin land, is our heritage, as long as it belongs to us. Those buildings like Urokpota Hall, I wonder why somebody will argue if Urokpota Hall is an heritage. That building has been there for generations. Whatever the story behind it is our heritage. When you start learning and start thinking about what is your heritage, you grab it and you want to protect it with all your strength. Because if that building is there, then for the next generation, they will be proud they have such a thing, and that will be their heritage too. So whenever you're thinking about heritage, there are so many things that is our heritage that we don't seem to know. And we're so blessed to have so many heritage lying there without we recognizing that this is our heritage. If like that stool that was brought to the palace, everybody celebrating, I'm happy about it, really excited about it. They are bringing those things one by one back to our kingdom, which is a very good thing. That is our heritage. It is our heritage and our legacy, the legacy of our state, the legacy of the Edo people. So if you don't understand your heritage, then you are lost. Because by the time you know your heritage, then you know your value. You know that you worth more than you think. You know that you worth more. I see people commenting saying today that they are proud to be a Benin ma. Why not? Why would you not be proud to be an Edo ma or Edo woman? We all are proudly Edo people. The more you know what you are made of as an Edo person, then the more you know your value, the more you start to claim that your space and feel like you're very important in every society, that you matters, because your ancestors, we great ancestors, they did great things, and that is your legacy. And that legacy is the one that you're going to pass to the next generation. You're going to preserve it and pass it to them, because it's also their legacy. So the more we think about heritage, we need to understand what is heritage in order to protect it, to preserve it, because we know that it's not just for us alone, it's also going to be for the next generation. It's also going to be for our children, it's also going to be for their children and their children's children. So that is why it's very important that we start to think about what is heritage and what do we protect. How do we do it? How do we recognize it, that this is heritage? Because there are so many heritage that is lying all around, that is everywhere, because there are so many heritage that we don't seem to recognize yet that is our heritage, and we need to do it. We need to preserve it in order to pass it to the next generation. So next time you're thinking about your heritage, think about so many of the things that is being left behind by our ancestors. The need for you to preserve them. The land, Benin, is your heritage, because that land is been there for generations. And your ancestors once lived there and left it for you to be there. So that land is your heritage. If you don't feel is your heritage, then there will not be need to protect it. There will not be need to say anything about it. But because you feel is your heritage, that is why you speaking, talking about different things, wanting the best for the place, thinking about the city. What do we do for the city to be better? How do we create jobs? How do we do this? That is why you are involved. Because you feel the need to be involved. You have the passion in you because you know that you have no other home or no other heritage than that. So your city is your heritage, whether you like it or not. That means that you need to protect it, preserve it, in order so that the next generation can have the city to live in. If you don't do anything about it, if you destroy it, what will happen to the next generation? And that is what we as Edo people, we should start thinking about. What is our heritage? The moment we start recognizing each of our heritage, then we now feel like we need to protect them, because they are not just meant for us alone. They are meant for us to pass it on to the next generation. And it will be a shame if we don't have it to pass to the next generation. Whatever heritage is lying there right now that we have in our possession, if we cannot protect it so that our next generation can have it, then it's a shame.